r/AskReddit. What's a toxic trait that you have? Procrastination, laziness, and the seeming inability to stick with anything long term. Literally reading this while I'm supposed to be studying. Same. Procrastinators unite, lol. Sometimes I can just complain and complain and complain without even realizing how negative I'm being. You don't realize how much energy complaining negativity takes out of you until you make the conscious decision to stop doing it. I'm working on it, but some days are still difficult. It's especially hard when you have a job you hate. I've started to realize that I complain to others about it a lot, and I'm sure it gets annoying. But, damn, is it hard not to complain when I'm at a place I hate for 9 hours every single day. Shit is draining. I feel you. It's a frustrating feeling when you're in a draining situation because of money related reasons. I hate the city I live, Seattle. I'm a southerner. This cold and depressing rain is killing my soul. But I gotta stay here a few more years to save some money. I make like 75% more $ here than where I'm from, would like to return. Florida, and the expensive rent here is still a way higher net monetary gain than back in the south. Since I'm just about to finally pay off my $60,000 grad school loans this summer, I could move, yes, but then I would never really feel at all okay with the level of savings I'd have. Hardly anything, and my parents don't have anything to inherit down to me. I know complaining isn't the best, but not saying anything also makes me feel weird because I'm holding in all my anger/misery, and then I'm surrounded by people who love the same place that makes me so miserable, which makes it worse. Sigh, at least I know in 5 years my 20s decade of struggling and hustling to the detriment of my own happiness self-care will finally be over. I don't open up unless asked direct questions, and then I wonder why no one seems interested in my life. I'm the opposite. I'm constantly oversharing, or I try to empathize with people by telling them a story of something similar that happened to me, and it probably comes across as me being self-obsessed. That's interesting. I can see how you are trying to be empathic, but also how it could come across as self-obsessed. I am extremely bad at expressing my feelings, which often leads people to think I'm not interested, etc. I've hurt a few people by being downright stupid and a coward. I used to be like this, and some ways still am. I was especially not good at telling people they have hurt me or saying no. I did not want to say no because I was a people pleaser. I either did not want to hurt their feelings or wanted them to have a good opinion of me. I was also not good at telling people they have hurt me. So instead I bottled up and resorted to subtle ways of punishing them by ignoring them or using the silent treatment, or just doing subtle and petty things to punish them, such as being late when asked to meet, not calling them, etc. An entire series of events, including depression and an abusive relationship, finally led me to a therapist's office. It was there that I finally understood that the way I dealt with conflict was unhealthy. Suppressing hurt feelings caused by conflict was not a solution. Neither was indiscriminately releasing them. What I needed was a safe and constructive release valve. When I started to utilize the techniques given to me by my therapists, such as creative arts and physical exercises as a source for venting, I noticed that there were changes in my relationship and something unexpected happened. I felt as if some people wanted me to react to them in the way that I used to. They did not like that I would constructively confront them after they had done something that displeased me and preferred the silent, petty, childish treatment, or they did not like that I would say no to them. I have come to learn that sometimes others can exacerbate some character traits, even toxic ones. Once they get used to your reactions, they categorize you and put you in a box. When you try to step out of that box, they want to squeeze you right back in. Sometimes it is not toxic character traits. Sometimes it is toxic relationships, including non-romantic ones. This is so much like me. In an argument or any kind of confrontation, I have to be the victim. I'm getting pretty good at identifying it quicker and owning up to it, but it's my go-to reaction. Any idea how to explain to someone that they do this? My roommate and best friend of 10 years always does this, no matter what the initial problem is. Somehow I'm berating her, and she's just stupid, and that's all anyone ever thinks of her. It's exhausting. Edit. Thanks for all the great replies, everyone. I feel like I've already tried a lot of these. but it's nice to know I'm not the only person who's loved someone like this. I'm going to try what you/Miss Pajama Pants suggested and attempt to use more I statements rather than you, as I feel this might work, and I haven't tried it yet. I really hope it can work, because I love her dearly, but it's getting worse and tearing our friendship apart. Edit 2. I feel I should also add, in case she sees this, as she's a Redditor too, that this is not the only thing tearing the friendship apart, but it makes the other problems harder to deal with when our discussions always led to the same place. Honestly, it's a defense mechanism I picked up from a shitty childhood, and I genuinely felt like the way she was saying she feels, like if I have one flaw, I must have a million. If I've hurt your feelings a little, I must be the worst person you've ever met. It's like this weird thin line of being a victim or a monster. There's no other option. So maybe reinforce the love before bringing the issue up. Another thing is to use I statements. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed because I think I'm struggling to communicate with you. I don't like when people do X, and I can't seem to say it without hurting your feelings, and I never want that. Good luck. I have a bad habit of not trusting other people to do things right. Counterpoint. Have you seen other people? You make a compelling argument. My anger gets to the best of me. Mine does in video games, although I never rage at others. I'll rage off mic at them, but never be toxic to them. All that means a lot. Good job containing the rage. I have a jealous streak that I just can't kick, or better yet don't know how to kick. I have it but I can't change it. Fight the urge of checking up on yourself. Finding no evidence of wrongdoing will just give you a short-term release. In the long run it just feeds the notion that something is wrong and enables you to keep doing until you find something that may or may not be a big deal. I think this is what caused my jealousy, and just resisting it is the only thing that seems to work. Won't change anything in the near future, but you'll thank yourself in a few years. Edit. Thanks for the gold, anonymous stranger. I actually appreciated this response. I have trust issues from a past relationship, and the man I'm with now is wonderful and I know he loves me and wouldn't do anything to hurt me. Yet I found myself looking through his phone as he slept. Of course I found nothing, and of course I regret it. I have a penchant for self-destruction. If things go my way, I duck it up somehow. Jobs, relationships, school. I am doing good and suddenly duck it all up. I feel this. Do you think that you overtly torpedo things, or is it more of a subconscious thing? Do you have a fear that the bad outcome is going to happen immediately, so you might as well speed it along? Do you have a sense that you don't deserve good outcomes? I'm not asking to psychoanalyze you, but because I'm looking for insight on my own behavior. It's being a nice guy at its core. I believe in order to be nice, I should not have needs. And in order to not be a bother, I should have low presence in the world. Anything good attracts attention. Reading the book No More Mr. Nice Guy helped me get over a few things. I'll tell you tomorrow. Spoiler alert, it's procrastination. I read spoiler tits for some reason. Dude, I tried wording this like 3 different ways to not get tits in there, but every single way did. Hint, plot twist. And then eventually I just said duck it and used spoiler alert Lomfeo. Wow, this thread is a psychiatrist's wet dream. Don't stop, I'm almost there. I have repressed daddy issues and my anxiety knows no bounds. Sips beer, what do you think? The fact that you sip, I bet you make some loud ass noise while sipping, and it is so loud people across the room notice you. If you make the R sound after you sip, don't talk to me. The inability to say no. I learned to change this trait the hard way. Never saying no out of fear of disappointing people led me to resent people through no fault of their own, and that was never a nice feeling. I'm bad at this. I blame my parents, especially my mum, because if I didn't want to do something she'd guilt trip me into it. We're going out to do X with this person. Do you want to come? No. Oh, but they'd love to see you and would be so disappointed if you didn't come, and etc. Still do it to this day. When I lash out, it's bad. I will say vile, unforgivable things. I need to change that. Sounds like you hold everything in until you can't anymore, and then it all comes flooding out at once. Stronger than it should. Maybe try releasing little bits of negative emotions at a time so that they don't build up as much. It's my responsibility to get to therapy on a regular schedule, and I haven't. Self-destructive. ISIS wants to know your location. Do you feel like when things are going well, the bottom will fall out at any minute? Do you feel like sometimes when things are going well you subconsciously or overly sabotage them? My anxiety can make me easily irritable because I feel tense and so uncomfortable. Me too. Because of this I have a hard time living in the moment and being happy content with where I am in life. It can be hard when someone wants to share their life with me. I'm never fully present because of my anxiety and it shows. This may sound dumb but try showering as soon as you get off work. I'm an anxious guy and I've found that showers somewhat reset my brain. It almost interrupts my brain. Anyways helps me. Also if you smoke don't. Makes it worse in the long run. Overthinking everything to the point of stagnation. This is me too. I can catch myself overthinking but I can't ever do anything about it. Would really like to know how some people are able to just stop themselves. I'm so lazy that I just don't do anything that doesn't sound fun outside of work school. Same, but I just don't do anything at all. Same. It's really ruining my life honestly. I hate my job even though, objectively, I have a decent job that pays okay and doesn't require me to work overtime or take work home with me. But I hate doing anything other than what I want to do, so I just spend my whole day thinking about all the things I'd rather be doing with my time, and then when I finally get off work I just stress about how little time there is until I go back to work and I don't end up doing anything enjoyable. It's made me a bitter and miserable person and ruined a long-term relationship that was the one bright spot in my life. I wish I could change but I just don't know how to. I take instant, psychotic dislikes to certain people for no damn good reason. It's physiological, so it's a tough habit to break. I have that with some people, too. I've never liked one of my uncles. My father gave me shit for not being polite to him, because I was scared to say anything to him. Fast forward a few years later, he cheated on his wife, beat up his children and assaulted my father so hard that he is still disabled. Gut feelings are there for a reason. What the duck? Shamelessly ghosting everyone. Not even talking about romantic relationships. I'm just cutting off everyone I grow tired of. I did this too, but for a different reason. I tried to cure loneliness with isolation. Not following through on commitments. I just get this overwhelming feeling of dread combined with apathy and I either cancel or don't put in a complete effort. Not always, but enough to know I have a problem. I did this for many years, not just with social plans, but ideas and goals, etc. Just no follow through. You start to identify as the person who doesn't follow through on things, the unreliable person. Fast forward to today, I follow through no matter what. Not because it's convenient, or because I even want to do the thing anymore, but because I've experienced the heavy cost of not following through. You stop trusting yourself. Start small, make little commitments, and follow through. Never talk about future plans or ambitions unless it's already in the motion and a sure thing. Start rebuilding your inner integrity. As someone who's come through the other side, it's worth every ounce of effort and pain to make the transition. I hold my tongue way too late, so if I feel the need to rage, vent, or complain I will occasionally say you know what, and then you can see me in physical pain as I tell myself to shut up and then I shut up for a good hour or so. I handle anger by isolating myself and not talking for hours on end. My wife told me I shouldn't hold in my negative emotions for so long. I would hold them in and repress them until I would go full rage volcano at an unexpected time. Blowing up over little things when the blow up was really about all the prior things. Her advice helped. I'm super jealous and clingy. Hey, now I'm jealous you stole my comment. Sometimes I think I'm correct and will vehemently defend my stance, even after knowing the truth. Pride. We all have it. My wife is the worst with that shit, so I never rub it in when she's proven wrong. Shame is the most destructive emotion I have experienced, especially with people who hold pride honor above all else, so when they make a mistake it's a living nightmare. I'm extremely negative. Instead of happy cake day I'm going to wish you a negative one instead. I just think people are lying all the time. I pretty much think all posts on some of the popular subs are fake. I'm more selfish than I would like to admit. I don't really care what a lot of people do as long as it doesn't affect me. Hot and cold with people. I really hate that I'm like this. I feel like it's hard to be friends with me. Some days I will say and do whatever I feel like. Just feel really positive and like a free spirit. Like I could do anything. Then I wake up the next day extremely emotionally sensitive and just don't want to do anything that has to do with other people. Even my closest friends. Sometimes I think I might actually have undiagnosed bipolar disorder. I hate it when a group of people agree on something without properly challenging the topic at hand, and will always argue with people for the sake of arguing. The problem is that I then begin believing the things I argue for. I'm a huge people pleaser. This usually winds up with me making sure other people are happy before myself in almost any aspect. I'll say yes to things I don't want to do just because I know that they do and it will make them happy. I try and build other people up but mostly just tear myself down. I also tend to push down my negative emotions and put on a smile so that other people don't worry. What's even worse is when you convince yourself that pleasing other people is actually what pleases you. It's a great feeling until you realize it's not, and then you crave someone who actually wants to please you with no expectations in return. I can't let things go due to my anxiety and they just repeat in my head until I freak out and reorganize my room for the 60th time in a month. Emotionally manipulative and I can't apologize worth a damn. That makes me sad and you don't even care. I'm incredibly sensitive, which is awesome in my line of work. Open bracket. Caregiver for adults with mental and physical disabilities, and daycare teacher. It allows me to really empathize with those in my care, and really do the absolute best I can to provide the best care, but can definitely be toxic in a relationship, mostly because I expect the same level of compassion from friends and family, and am often disappointed. Best example I have is my birthday. I work so hard to make sure everyone's birthday is awesome. For my husband's, I made sure I got him an awesome gift. I wrote a huge love letter. I got him a card. I put up banners. I made a cake. And I showered him with happy birthday and I love you. For my birthday, he didn't really mention it. I think he said it once. He got me a candy bar and a card, but the gift didn't matter too much to me. It was just the fact that he seemed to almost completely ignore the fact that it was my birthday. I wound up crying, and it made him feel like an a-hole, which made me feel like an a-hole. I felt guilty for days, and he did too. The next year he made sure to really acknowledge my birthday, and we had an awesome day. A lot of people seem to interpret it as a need for attention, but that isn't it. I just get really hurt when I put so much effort into someone, only for me to be basically ignored. I cry at really dumb things too, and it even makes me annoyed because of it. A few days ago, my husband, my son and I were all watching Horton Hears a Who, and the mayor and Jojo were connecting, and I shed a few tears. At first my husband was concerned, but then he was like, "Oh, is it because of the movie?" I nodded, and he sort of chuckled and said girls are weird. To be fair, you were fully in the right for feeling hurt when he didn't celebrate your birthday. Your love language seems to be acts of service. In other words, it sounds like you show love by making people feel special, going above and beyond. Gestures of thoughtfulness and love. I know this because it's my love language too, and I've often been called overly sensitive. I show love by going a bit above and beyond. So I know the feeling of being hurt when someone doesn't behave the way I would if I were to try to show them how much I care. Open bracket. Doesn't celebrate my birthday the way I would celebrate theirs. I am also a major empath. I put myself in people's shoes, often a little too intensely. I managed to identify this trait and communicate it to myself, which made everything click. The trick is, don't overextend yourself. My husband understands this part of me and really celebrates it, but I have pulled back with friends and co-workers in regards to lavish planned gestures, and it has helped me stop expecting them in return. Just quiet kindness and thoughtfulness goes a long way. It has really toughened me up in a good way, but I still have that soft center. I'm just not totally vulnerable all the time now. I truly believe that I am more intelligent than people when it comes to defending beliefs. I'll help, you aren't. I hold them to an unfairly high standard. which causes me to get frustrated with them. It's completely unfair to them. Not sure it's toxic, but I don't seek interaction with people. I'm pretty okay with just focusing on the task at hand. I'm not going to ask you about your kids or your 5 dogs or why you're wearing a banana costume. But if somehow you entered my life more and you make more effort, I'm pretty open to you for 5 minutes and then I'm exhausted and would deny. Haha, except the internet. Hey guys. Faith rolling on the floor laughing. If I don't watch out I can be really manipulative, which I learned from the queen herself, my mom. I'm really bad about holding grudges. I attribute it to having a pretty solid episodic memory which, aside from letting me remember all my many duck-ups and idiot moments, also includes a somewhat encyclopedic memory of the various times people have wronged me or people I love. This becomes toxic though when I have difficulty getting over what may very well be a minor slight from a loved one, and it ends up coloring my perspective on them in future. Perfectionism. And if I can't do something perfectly, I just won't do it at all. I'm working on it. I am in the process of perfecting my recovery from perfectionism. I swing between being a perfectionist and apathetic about literally everything, and I just want my brain to ducking pick one. No empathy. I feel you on that. I don't. I'm bitter. I came out of a bad relationship where I was suspicious of her emotionally cheating on me and falling for another guy while we were engaged, when I was 100% right. I developed a slight issue with trust from then on, which manifests in how I interact with other girls who have been interested in me, and friends who suddenly treat me differently for no reason. I used to be so much easier going and funny, and that feeling of betrayal and mistrust has made some of my personality a little too toxic. I'm working on it, but I think it will take time. I'm avoidant. If something stresses me out, I will go out of my way to avoid dealing with it, even if the results are far worse than the stressful thing in the first place. I'll eat a whole pan of brownies. I gossip. Woman face palming. So I've heard. I assume you're a shitty person until you prove otherwise. I express myself too much and it scares potential partners off. I'm using way too many excuses instead of saying that I just ducked up. I'm judgmental. Have to actively suppress it. I'm pretty sure half of this thread is my ex on all his accounts. I still have one of your shirts. Going by my friends' reactions, I don't have much of a sense of urgency. Most of the time I don't see a reason to get bent out of shape over an inconvenience. Lack of forgiveness. I hate myself, so I tend to be extremely self-destructive. I eat too much when I know I shouldn't. I lay around when I should exercise. I don't tell people how I feel when I should. If I get a golden opportunity to do something I always wanted, I pass on it and argue with anyone who tells me to go do it. End result is I'm never happy. I don't trust people and have built walls around me, which stops me from getting close to people or them getting close to me. I have lots of acquaintances but no true friends or confidants. I don't say no to things I don't want to do, and sometimes I will do them anyways, but others I'll just drop the people I said yes to instead of actually doing what I didn't want to in the first place, instead of saying hey, here's my reasoning. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.